I'm sure many of you have known these women, but I think they are amazing. So that's why I asked them to come up and to share their views on being a woman in blockchain, because it seems like it's not being highlighted as enough. I think it should be highlighted more. And let's give a brief introduction of yourselves and just let them know what you do and why you're doing this space. Starting with.
So I'll start. I'm Erika Suzuki. I'm from Mistletoe. My organization is called Mistletoe. I'm also at another fund called Fresco. And Mistletoe actually is a social impact investor. We invested in ventures like startups, and also we're looking into some crypto or blockchain projects. And I'm really excited to be here. It's such a great crowd. And all the other presentations were super inspiring. So I think my role today is like, even someone like Eriko can do this, so I think I can do it. So I think that's my role for today. But thanks for listening.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chang. I work for Stellar, lead the partnerships activities in APAC region. So a little bit background of what Stellar is. We're founded back in 2014 by Jet McCaleb, who was also a founder of Ripple previously. And what Stellar does is we're trying to build this open access global financial infrastructure for cross-asset transactions. So think of a fiat currency to fiat currency transaction when when it's exotic currency trading, or if cow is a super liquid asset in a village in Cambodia, then you can tokenize that and be interoperable with any of the other assets live on the Stellar protocol. So two of the major use cases that we're focusing on right now is one, cross-border payments, because it's very obvious use case. The global remittance market, if you look at the data, the fee is still very high, around 7 to 8%, right? So it's a huge market opportunities for blockchain and cryptos to disrupt. And then a second use case we're very focused on is for projects to tokenize their assets. So, the general ICOs we're seeing, you can launch on Stellar instead of Ethereum for more scalability, lower cost, and faster speed. And then we're also having like an increasing amount of projects coming in that want to tokenize real-world asset. Some of the examples we've seen, such as like real estate properties, gold, mined gold in the ground, carbon credit, etc. So those are the two main use cases we're looking at. It's an honor to be here and happy to share. Thanks.
Hi, Women in Blockchain Korea. My name is Fu Styles, and I'm fully decentralized. I don't really live anywhere. I'm always on a plane or in an Airbnb or a hotel. So I wear many hats, one of them being I'm a venture partner of Valorum Capital, which is an early stage venture firm out of Silicon Valley. I'm also the CEO of Blockchain PR, so we do marketing and PR for all things blockchain. And I'm also a co-founder of a co-living and co-working space called Startup Villas in Silicon Valley. And most importantly, I am founder of Women in Blockchain Foundation, which is a nonprofit that is working towards getting 1 million women into the blockchain industry by 2020. And also, on my spare time, I DJ as Madam Crypto, and I make some music. So.
That's amazing. My name is Erika Qiang. I'm the moderator of this panel. I'm the CEO and founder of Crypto Soul. It's just emerging Korean blockchain community, and I'm really honored to have three wonderful women, seniors, basically my mentors, basically, and as the panelists. And I'm really glad to have this conversation, to have a very upfront and honest discussion about being a woman in blockchain. So thank you. So I've been actually going to many, many meetups and seminars, and I've seen like just a number of females. I'm really actually very shocked to see this number of females in this meetup. I mean, half are men, of course, but I think the number of women is astonishingly high. So I'm really surprised, and of course, I'm really honored to find you actually. So being in the situation as women being a minority in this space, have you personally felt any challenges or any obstacles or any like biases upon you? Just curious on an honest level.
Previous to being in the blockchain industry, I was in the virtual reality and augmented reality industry. So that was very male dominated. So I'm used to this. And previous to that, I was a celebrity fashion stylist in Hollywood, and I worked with a lot of women in fashion and gay men. So I've experienced a lot. And then before that, I was a cognitive behavioral therapist, worked with young people, and they're mostly women in that space. So I've seen the challenges of being in this space, at least for me. One was imposter syndrome. Like, so I actually got in fully in the space last year, and the not knowing anything about this space, but then just diving in deep, I thought I was very intimidated, especially because blockchain is difficult. Like anyone who tells you they're an expert in this space, unless they've been in it since, 2008, there are people coming in and saying they're an expert, like last year. I don't claim to be an expert. I just worked really hard. I think I've calculated over 2,600 hours I've spent immersing myself in the space since October of last year. So the challenge is that I'm always the only woman in the room, except for this room. I love this room. But at meetings, and I advise over 10 companies in the space, and they're mostly all men, and I'm their advisor. So one of the challenges is that I actually feel like everyone's mom. They call me crypto mom sometimes. So I'm always taking care of everyone and making sure that everything is kosher and everyone is behaving. Mostly because I'm very protective of this industry, and having been in the entertainment industry and having dealt with the Me Too. You've seen in Hollywood over the last year and the last few months with Harvey Weinstein and all that. I just don't want that to affect our industry, especially since we are such a fledgling industry. Over less than 1% of the population knows about blockchain, is in blockchain. And I'm all about creating mass adoption. And so it's been a challenge always being the only woman in the room. And so that's why I actually started the Women in Blockchain Foundation, because I was tired of being the only woman in the room. So that's why I've been personally sponsoring and funding women to go to workshops and conferences so that they can gain financial literacy and learning how to develop in blockchain, and then also getting a lot of women their first wallets. So that's been a challenge, just getting exposure for this.
Ella?
Yeah, I come from a traditional finance background. I was in renewable energy finance and banking before I joined this ride with Stellar. It's quite similar. Like there's very few women in the traditional financing industry. But I would say that maybe at the beginning, like I recall the first time when I was in China with Jed, the founder of Stellar, we went out and had a meeting with some Chinese corporations, and they think, like you just they thought that I'm just a translator for Jed. So I think that at the beginning, maybe like the first impression, like they would think, maybe you're just like a personal assistant or something. But I think that it's super soon to pass that phase once you start to present yourself in a professional way and establish that you really know the stuff. So it's a super fast phase to pass. But I would say that like being a woman in this space, we are the minority, but it's also a certain advantage to us because there's so many men out there, and people are passing the conferences like the blockchain week. What's happening here, like there's so many names and faces you can remember, right? So, like, people remember you better than other men, right?
I agree.
So, yeah, I think that this is definitely to our advantage. And another thing I think that women sometimes would do better is blockchain. As you mentioned earlier, like blockchain is a really complex technology. When you are talking to top level decision makers of big corporations, they're a lot of times they're not technical backgrounds, right? They're mostly business driven people. So they would need someone to explain this in a easy to understand way that address to their interest. So I think that at least my job is a big chunk of that is doing that work, really to understand the technical piece and then know how you do the storytelling and tailor to average individuals. And I think as women who a lot of us are compared to developers, there's might be a little bit stereotyping here, but compared to like geeky developers, we might be better at explaining things in the easy to understand way.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, I echo a lot of what was said, but as a VC and also invested in a couple of crypto projects, I think the challenge, kind of similar to what you guys said, is it is very male dominated. I also came from a finance background, so I'm used to that as well. Like 10% of my investment banking colleagues were, only women. But anyhow, so with the male dominated kind of culture, I think sometimes this space, crypto as well, can be very hypey and like very alpha. So yesterday, for example, I was just sitting down with a friend having a beer, and then somebody next to us was like, wait, like, what are you guys like investors? And I was like, maybe. And they were like, so what's the last 3 projects that you like invested in? And we like listed them, and they're like, okay. So like, what valuation did you get? And so they're very like aggressive, and they try to like rank you, like how much do you know? But to be honest, like I'm not very fazed by that at all. I've been in finance, and I'm just like very chill, having my beer with my friend, talking to them like, hey, our name is. And so anyways, with that, I think what I try to do is I don't see it as a challenge, but I try to actually make sure that people understand that this space is very friendly. And investors especially don't talk about failure. We always tell our startups to fail fast. But you never hear about investors being very humble and being like, yeah, we actually really made a mistake on that investment. But they're never really like that. But I actually, as a social impact investor and also as a female, or just about blockchain space, it's about integrity and authenticity at the same time. So I try to make sure to keep it very, very real and not really get sucked into the hypey, alpha kind of tone. So that's what I do. And I think women might be really good at that, because we're not, I don't think we're trained to be very aggressive and put on that facade. So I encourage all of you guys in here to try not to do that as well. Like there's no need for you guys to really like show that you're super macho and your project is amazing. It's okay. Like let's all learn together, I think. Yeah. So
Yeah, I actually agree. I've been, told, are you a secretary? Are you like a personal assistant, translator? I've heard all those things before. So I really do follow all of your opinions, and I'm nodding like 100 times right now. But yeah, I think women, I don't want to group actually women and male. I don't want to dissect it actually, but I think there's very few times where females are on the stage. That's why I created this opportunity. But I think we need more. I think we need more appreciation for what we do, and that's why, that kind of emphasizes how we've been undervalued, I guess, underestimated on certain levels. We tend to, yeah. So I want to ask. So what field do you think women are strong at? What fortes do you think that women can be better at in the industry?
What forte in blockchain? Well, naturally, going back to cave women days, like we're nurturers and we're communicators. Yeah. So a lot of the women in the industry you'll find on the marketing side, like at most tech companies, you'll find women in the marketing side. But I think that times are changing, and I'm seeing a lot more female developers, and that's why I've created sponsorships to Ethereum boot camps. If anybody wants to learn Ethereum, I will pay for it. Just let me know. But yeah, and we are starting to invest. By the way, who here is invested in crypto?
Wow.
Not bad, pretty good.
Wow, 90.
Who here invested in crypto before last year? Before 2013.
Wow.
Okay, good. So we have like a good scope of the room. Wait, sorry, I got
Going, it's okay.
what's the question again?
The advantages that on certain fields like communication, like PR, or just kind of marketing.
Yeah. So so our advantage is that so we're good at communicating. So I really encourage women to become founders and problem solve. So I get a lot of women asking like, oh they're very concerned because we're naturally very concerned about the world and wanting to create community. And blockchain is like the best community I've ever been a part of. It's like a tribe. We're all like family, and so it's really amazing. And so just using our natural talents of being communicators and I think we're natural born leaders too, because like being a mom, that you have to lead the whole family. So anyway, I can go on about that. I'll let you talk.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it depends on what your background is, right? At Stellar, we have amazing female developers. Our business development team, half of us are female. Our legal counsel is female. We're actually pretty balanced in terms of gender within the organization. So outside of the marketing and PR side that you just mentioned, I think more importantly, like as the technology is entering a phase where real use cases can be built and actually achieve mass adoption. The role I think it's really important is the project management role. That's really linking the business side with the technical side. That role exists, for all the traditional tech companies. But I think within blockchain, we are kind of still dividing like the developers with the business people. But what's really needed is someone in the middle. And I think for women who are generally good with communications and good at like being able to manage the process, this is a perfect role for someone who perhaps doesn't have deep technical training background, but have the knowledge and the desire to be working in the industry.
Yeah, thank you, Erika, for the great question about like, do women have kind of an advantage? I think it's a great question, but just to change it up a little bit, I have like another perhaps view, and I actually wrote a book about women and how to be empowered in Japanese. So I'm really passionate about this, but I have another view that I actually try not to think that women are more this or men are more that. But I think just systemically, just because of all these systems of capitalism and political structures, it's just so ingrained that women are, prone to certain roles. And I think I don't have any biases about that. I think men are capable of nurturing, vice versa. So I think for that, I try to write in my book as well that know who you are, and sometimes confidence is really important, but it's very hard. Like we had the talk about imposter syndrome. So when you're feeling like, am I good enough? Is this really my strength? Then another key word is community. So we heard it a lot today. I think just reaching out to people that are similar to you, whether it is women or other men or other people in other projects, I think really help, because then you can feed off of each other's energy and you feel like, oh, you're not the only one. And I think with that, like whether you're a woman or a man, or you're interested in communication or developing, if you find a solid community, you can really like multiply your strength and your superpowers. Yeah.
Great answer, thank you. So, I mean, I'm sure you all feel this, but entering the industry, like 1 year of crypto is like 6 years or 10, even 10 years. I mean, I think it's just everything's happening super fast. And I'm sure everyone's just kind of like catching up, and every day it's don't always work and always, checking your phone and to check into news, right? Just everything's so fast. And I think, everyone has trouble, not just females, right? Everyone just has troubles. How do you keep yourself? Is there any way that you keep yourself up to date with all this and to try to keep up with the industry? Any know-how? I'm just trying to say, and also because I want to give some inspiration to fellow females or fellow males who want to enter the industry.
Well, one, if you're not on Telegram, get on Telegram. Everyone, get on Telegram and join Women in Blockchain Foundation. All one word, all together. So go ahead, I'll let you do that. So we are full of resources. So it's a network in there. Everyone's posting about jobs, about media, networking opportunities. Too, networking. So this is a great event, going to meetups. So I started, I actually accidentally got into blockchain by going to a conference called BlockCon in Los Angeles. I had a augmented reality startup, and I was just working on that. And I was just interested because I'm interested in so many different things. I just wanted to learn more about blockchain. Next thing I know, I'm learning how to do ICOs, and, and then I got recruited into a PR company. Now I own the PR company. So I literally went to a conference or a meetup a week. So, and then I watched every YouTube video I could about it until I could explain it to a 5-year-old. And then I practiced explaining it to my Uber driver. It's still hard, what's blockchain? And making friends and getting mentors in this space, I one of my good friends is Brock Pierce. He's been in space since the beginning. And he's educated me so much in this space, what's the other one? I created my own community of friends who if you didn't know about it, we would just talk about it and talk about investments together. We didn't know what we were doing. Somehow we still ended up making $1 million. So just getting around community, I think, is really, really great.
For me, I guess I come from a different perspective because I work with a lot of companies and folks who are not in the blockchain space. And my view is I would look at it on several of the particular use cases and really understand that industry you're trying to serve or disrupt. I think that's what's missing in the current phase right now. All these conferences and meetups, it's us talking about the same thing over and over again. Sometimes it feels like a bubble to me. So there are a lot of noises in this space. If you're focusing 100% on absorbing these information, I think it's useless. So try to stay focused on what exactly you want to do in the future, and learn learn the specific industry and how blockchain can potentially apply. And then 2, I would say that stay abreast of the tech side of things. Obviously, there are all kind of news on, which ICO project raised X amount of money and blah, 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 all these stuff. It's like after doing the talking points, but it's not really important. Really to learn the technology development. There are a lot of good content on Medium on the technical side. Me personally, I'm also quite interested on some of the innovative token economics models. So I would, outside of my Stellar work, Stellar World, I would particularly seeking for those content.
Yeah, again, I just have to echo what you guys said always, but kind of summarizing that, I think kind of what Fu said and what Ella said, focusing on an industry is really important because you can get lost in all the tech or all the ICOs, but so focusing on that industry and also what you like or what your passion is about or what your interest is. So it can be through art, or it can be fashion with blockchain, or it can be music with blockchain. So I think just focusing on what you like is one really important thing, because then it's fun to learn about it. Like you just get more and more into it is what I found. So definitely that. And also getting your skin in the game, I think is the right way to say it. Yeah, so getting your skin in the game, because otherwise it's just information and you can endlessly read a bunch of articles, but unless you have that altcoin or your coin in your wallet, you're not really going to care about it. Or unless you organize a meetup with your friends, you're not really going to care about it. So I would just say it's okay to fail. It's okay to make mistakes. Everyone is making mistakes. So just get get in the game and have a good time.
Yeah, for me, I kind of fell into the rabbit hole, basically, 1 year ago. And since I fell into the rabbit hole, I've just full dove into this space. And the problem for me was that I could not do my own study because it's so fast. So you're just catching up with the news and doing your work. So I think studying itself was really hard for me. So I think just before getting to space, just study at least decent amount of months, or just kind of really do your work. And then I think that will keep a base of a solid foundation for your involvement in this space. That's just my personal experience and my regret. Personally, I should have done more studying. But yeah, so the final question to all of you. I mean, you've done amazing work so far, even just now, but do you have any future plans or any just immediate or long-term plans ready for you?
So I do social impact focused investing in the space in crypto as well. And I'm really passionate about that, whether it's new token economic models or disintermediating things, making things more direct. But I'm really excited about that, but it's also challenging because there's so many projects out there and filtering for quality is very difficult. But I hope to network and connect with all the people that are really passionate about this, and make it a really collective effort, because when it's collective, it's really going to be a huge impact. But when it's just siloed, it's reinventing the wheel is such a waste of time and resources. So I hope to really connect everyone across the world. I came from Tokyo today. I'm so amazed that so many people came here for Blockchain Week. So yeah, that's my goal. Yeah.
I think I would love to see that maybe 5 years from now, we would be using applications that powered by blockchain underneath, but without knowing it. We don't know there's a Stellar behind it, or there's a crypto behind the scene. So following that route, I'm very passionate about being involved in whether accelerating those kind of projects or helping existing but innovative big corporations to adopt this open source technology, or supporting resourceful and thoughtful startup to get on this journey.
So the future I'd like to see is a diverse, decentralized future where humans don't have to suffer and worry about making a living, and that they are free to create and thrive. And so I would like to be, in the famous words of Brock Pierce, once again, he defines a billionaire as one who impacts 1 billion people. So I would like to be the first female billionaire in the blockchain crypto space.
I mean, at least for me, I think, starting with this Women in Blockchain meetup in Korea, I would like to see a periodic, appearance of these themed meetups, and more just kind of exchange, honestly, about free ideas, about what you think about the space, what you want to learn about this space. So my goal is to become a more devoted community builder. But yeah, I really want to follow your guys' path, and I'm very honored to have you here. So, I mean, thank you so much for your wonderful comments. Thank you. Can you put on a pause? Thank you.